Well, hello there ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Tropical Paradise here on Transport Fever 2. This is episode number 4. I would like to say a big thank you to everyone for the recent support on the videos, in the comment section, but also over on Twitter and on Discord. Links to both are down in the description below. If we can aim for 15 likes on this video, then that would make my festive holiday season even better than it already is. As it is the festive season, I'm currently in Scotland and my computer is in the south of England. That means I haven't been able to play Transport Fever 2, which really does suck considering I do have a lot of spare time right now, but I have been playing other games. But I am really missing this game and I can't wait to get back to it, incorporate your feedback which you've left in the comment section throughout these past videos, and please continue to do so, and I'll make sure when I get back around mid-January I will add all this feedback in over a few episodes. I also want to do some live streaming when I get back in January as well, so make sure you're following me on Twitter and on Discord and I'll keep you posted on those. So before we get into today's episode, I just want to quickly recap last episode. We really focused on two main things. It was mainly bus fever at the end. We're connecting up the South Island with Southampton, Sea Shanty, Montrose and Winchester, and then we also started this hub and spoke model idea where we go and connect up. In this case we're starting off with moving grain over to a food processing factory, turning that into food, moving that through the island of Longhope in the middle, and then the boat up to Forest and Barra. That was then being used not just for construction materials but to also process and move that food. And that is really where our hub and spoke model is going to start. That harbour at the north of the island of Longhope, that is going to be one of our hubs, and it's going to go off to a spoke over on the island of Forest and Barra, which is fantastic, and we're going to continue to expand upon that hopefully in this episode. What is the plan for this episode? It's going to be a few different things. I want to work on some demand, want to try and see how my buses are actually doing, because we sort of just put them down and left them. I maybe want to try and introduce a train as well, because there's one or two bus routes which I'm feeling are already at a very high capacity, and then we'll see what else we get done. So with that said, let's get straight into some gameplay. Welcome to today's live gameplay here in episode number 4 of my Tropical Paradise series here on Transport Fever 2. Starting off in Bada, because we have a lot of people here, and I hinted at it in the last episode, and we've gone and made that change. So we have a lot of people going in between Bada and Longhope. For those who don't know, these are two of the islands. Longhope in the middle, I'm trying to grow it out quite a bit. It is serving as our capital city, and then we've got Forest, Northend, Barra. The first towns are connected up in the series back in episode 1. Forest is the largest city. So I've connected up these two islands. There's been a lot of demand, so I've added in a second boat. We can now see that there's a boat at each ends, though the windows don't seem to open. I've gone in, if you've not noticed, I've scaled everything up, the UI up, just in case you're on a mobile or something like that, because I remember trying to watch some Transport Fever videos with the UI elements user interface, so I'm talking about all the buttons and stuff. When they're scaled normally on a mobile, you cannot see them, and I realise that I've got a fair amount of mobile viewers, so, but bottom line is we've got 81 people on one boat and then we've got 85 on another, so I'm basically trying to spread the loads, make sure that we're clearing people out, keeping people moving, and it is meaning financially we're doing very well. So I've also let the game run a little bit more since the end of the last episode, took a bit of a break there, and we are, financially we're doing really good. So earnings, I've not spent too much recently, hence the earnings are probably quite representative of what's going on. 2.2 million, which is the highest definitely in the series so far, and we're going to look at a few different things. So first of all, we can see we've got some very, very successful routes. We also have some unsuccessful routes, which is disappointing, and we're going to work on that this episode. And we're going to hopefully get a train implemented in this episode as well, and possibly a tram to help that train out, but we'll get to that later on this episode. So first of all, we ended last episode again by talking about building buses, and we built buses. How are these buses doing? Well, first of all, Montrose is sort of the centre of all this bus stuff, which is good, and we're starting to see that we are getting a bit of demand building for these buses. How are these individual bus routes themselves actually doing? Let's filter by road vehicle, and we can filter by name as well, that would be perfect. So we've got our route over to Sea Shanty. It is doing well from Montrose. It could probably do with a bit of a higher frequency, an extra bus in there. We've got our buses down to Southampton. They are doing not too bad as well. Capacity is okay though. Winchester, I definitely think it's worth increasing that capacity. We can have a look and see how busy things are at Winchester. And then we've got our Sea Shanty route, which goes in between Sea Shanty and Southampton. Not really expecting that one to do that well, to be honest, but it seems to be holding its own, which is good. There's not a lot of demand coming down this way as of yet, which is okay, but it means we're probably a bit premature on building a railway. But as we can see in Winchester, we've got a fair amount of people waiting, so I'm happy to add on an extra 2 buses onto the Winchester route for the time being. In between this and the last episode as well, I did add a few more trucks in there if there was demand needed, which there was on moving around some cargo, especially I think it was mainly construction materials down from the port into Longhope City itself, and we're near enough meeting that supply bang on the head now, which is perfect. The negativity seems to be coming from over here, which isn't good. So I've got this one poor truck which is running around. Is this my negative route? So my negative route right now is not this route actually. This route seems to be doing okay. It's just this one truck going backwards and forwards. I'm thinking that I'm going to need to add in another truck, or maybe even 2 trucks, just because we seem to be having a lot of grain imported, which I'm really not gutted about that at all. So let's grab our ZIS 150 dump truck. Let's just add in 2 just to be safe, and it's easier to delete than add. So let's add that in all the way on the left hand side there. That's our purple Queensland grain route. Now it's this pink route here which goes from our food processing plant all the way up to the very top of the island. So it's quite a long route, that one. And I'm seeing that it is quite negative. It's not just negative, it's quite negative. But I'm starting to think that because it's not assigned itself any food, it's trying to transport logs, which isn't very good at all. So let's have a look here. Let's first of all pause and let's actually break down what's happening here. So you're carrying nothing because why? We need lots of food to come in here. So are we not bringing in enough food? So that's the possibility. Production's quite slow, or have we also got the wrong vehicles taking the food out? So we're easily bringing grain up here, maybe not at a fast enough rate. That'll change now with extra trucks though. And then the trucks on our pink route. These are flatbed trucks. Now, if we go back into the depot very quickly here, buy vehicles, we've got the flatbed truck, cargo types, all cargo, so it will be able to carry the processed foods, unless another one of the kinds of trucks specifically carries it, which they don't. So I don't really think there should be any problems there. My assumption is that we're not moving foods or grain, should I say, quick enough into the food processing plant. So this is something to continue to watch, and we'll come back to this later on in the episode when the 2 new trucks that are moving stuff from the port up to the food processing plant take effect. How is this farm production doing? So it's doing really good. Very happy about that indeed. This boat is 62 full. Time it gets back, I can imagine it'll be the same. So yeah, we really just need to get stuff into the food processing plant much quicker. Here come our additional trucks to help move that stuff. So we might as well just stay here and put the game onto ×3 speed. So all these 3 vehicles will really start to help out now. I'm just wanting to see if any of these vehicles are going to leave with the correct foods, because it would be great if they did. I never actually realised, and it's phenomenal how good the detail is of a lot of these different factories here. I never realised a food processing plant in its smallest form had a body of water in it. Arguably, yes, it is a very, very small pond, but I mean, it's still quite cool. I really do actually like the attention to detail and the uniqueness of these all. It's just really, really nice. Anyway, you don't have anything on you yet. We are starting to see some stuff moving around though, which is good. I don't know if that was like that before, but we might start to see a bit of output, and I'm a bit curious. So you're still dropping stuff off. I just want stuff to appear. Yes, we're starting to see stuff appear over here, which is good. That's what I'm wanting to see. A bit more movement. Still not got anything building up here yet though. Waiting on a bit of output, if that output's ever going to arrive. So production, it's saying that it is doing something. shipping. We seem to have a problem with shipping and it's highlighting that. So I'm going to look into this a bit more closely. So ladies and gentlemen, I now know my reason for failure, and you'll notice we're not at the port we once were at. We're at the port in Forest, and the reason that things are failing is because on this end I hadn't made any changes. So first thing is first is that on Forest we have a vehicle route which does move mainly construction materials, and I thought it could be expanded into other stuff. But based on the trucks that we've got, we can't carry food on those. So we were bringing in construction materials, but I also thought we were bringing food into Forest, and we can't. And also, it serves two different parts of towns. We need to provide construction materials to the yellow part of town, but commercial, it needs the food, and that is in blue. So we're serving two different parts of the town, so I've gone and added in another route. This route is the purple route. It serves the truck stop here at the top of First Street, and then we've also got the Forest Annex as well, and that will then also come down to here and share our stop station, whatever you want to call it, down here at Bada Central. Fantastic. Now the other possibility that there could be a problem is with the boat, the Schaffhausen. I'm probably going to add on a second boat shortly onto this actually, on this route. The Schaffhausen is okay, it has two compartments, so that means it can take all kinds of cargo, which is great, but the thing it has to, we need to consider really, and I've also realised now that all does mean passengers, by the way. I talked about this in episode 2, I am aware now of what I do and do not know, so I can actually use them in each different scenario for passengers or for cargo, which is fantastic. But I've got two compartments, one which can be filled with food and one which can be filled with construction materials. But we've got a lot of construction materials to ship out of here right now anyway, so it's good that I can add on an extra boat very shortly, because we actually have a lot of money, which is very nice to see indeed. So that is going to be able to resolve our problems once we put trucks onto this new route which can carry food, and we're not going to go for the Gaz truck with side stakes because that can't carry food, which is a problem. We're going to go for our probably flatbed trucks, I think. I think that's the best bet again, and try get some food into here. So we're going to add in 3 trucks, which is quite a lot I realise, but I think we might get stuck in a bit of city traffic coming up this road going forward. We've already got buses getting stuck in traffic, so I'm going to have to try and upgrade this road or work on something here in Forest at a later stage. The big thing is, if we fly back over to this side of the map now, we have got shipment moving, which is fantastic. And we're now seeing these trucks, this truck specifically, leaving with, and this is actually going to be really fast. This is not good. Let's slow this game down before we jump into that camera, because I don't think my processor's going to love that too much. But there we go. So we got some food. It looks like we got some maybe carrots and some cabbages in the back there. But the main thing is we now have got food, which is perfect. Really happy about that on the move. So again, using that hub and spoke model we talked about in the last episodes, this port is going to become even busier now, which is great, and hence why I want to add in a second ship. Right now we are about to move 100 construction materials-ish. Time this boat docks, it'll be closer to 110. But because we're going to now have food as well, it's going to be an increased demand, which is exciting to see. Thinking about things here, how are they going? So we've got a lot of stone to move, 168 right now. I am thinking, do we have another upgrade option on this boat? And we could use the large terminal. So right now we've got the, is this the Condelac? It's the Schaffhausen, isn't it, we're using right now. So we've got some other options to upgrade to, and that is a real possibility for myself. So this Axalp. Yeah, we'll go with that. It can carry stone at 220. Quite a large jump actually, it seems, between the Vandel at 130, which the Schaffhausen as a small boat also does. Oh, okay, now we've got these towboats which can use small, and they got a capacity of 175. These might be a bit more interesting to go for actually. Just looking through the capacities here. So I think we're going to maybe go for the towboat instead. That'll give us a bit of extra capacity, an extra, what, 45? And I think that is the way to go. It's also a different boat as well, which is quite exciting. So we'll now see this It's interesting, very interesting. It very much is a towboat or a push boat, whatever it's going to do. It's going to... What way are you facing? Yes, it's really a push boat. It's going to push the grain or the stone in front of it. That's only filled up with 130 there, but next time it comes round it'll be able to do the 175, and that will then go in still to our small port, which is good. Even though we've got a large one there, we don't have to use it as of yet, which is good. So that's done, and at least things are on the move now. I've probably got way too many trucks over here moving stuff, but it doesn't necessarily look like it actually. I mean, this truck's just about to leave. It's only got 2 grain, for example, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to sell one of these for the time being. That boat is filling up nicely, which is good, 62, so yeah. I think once this whole chain settles down, hopefully we'll start to be able to build demand. We can also start to move stuff over to West Acton as well. I think that could be a good idea, and Salmon Rock shortly too, so we do definitely have options there going forwards. But ladies and gentlemen, I want to get some trains onto some tracks, and that is where we're going to go to next. So we've got a lot of money, which is good. Let the game run at quite a high speed for quite a long period. So I want to connect up Bada with Forest. I realise that I've got the potential to go right into Northend right now. There's not really that high demand between... The demand hasn't increased between Northend and Forest. It's very stagnant, which I'm happy about that. It has increased between Barra and Forest though, just because we've added the boat in, and I want to continue to expand this harbour in the near future as well. The boats, that one's on 72, that one's on 58, so we're still moving a lot of people, and I think we can get even more people down here by using trains instead of buses. Buses right now, they're very, very full, and currently on this yellow route I've got 9 buses. We're running at 103 out of 108 capacity. I can't really do much more based on the time we are in. I think what I'm going to do as well, so we're what, 4 episodes in and we've progressed 5 years. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move the date speed up to half. That's quite a big milestone in this series. But I think we need to just move slightly faster than we're doing. I've not really got an end date in sight or anything like that, but it's just maybe nice to start to get a bit more unlocks a bit more frequently. Okay, so let's start to make some changes here. We've got the 1 platform station. That will do the job, to be honest. I do want to upgrade though to high-speed tracks. I'm not bothered with catenaries right now, to be honest. Let's have a think here. So I just want to upgrade the previous tracks. We got an upgrade tool here. This is interesting. So we got platform roof, we've got an underpass, and we've got a side entrance, which we can make use of a lot of this stuff. Let's go back to tracks. I'm very quickly just going to upgrade tracks here. That landed up taking quite a while, didn't it? I sort of just got a bit carried away and I was like, you know what, if we're going to start building the railway in between these two islands, we might as well go and do the whole thing, and that is what we've gone ahead and done. We've spent a lot of money. Let's very quickly just check the accounts and see that in this period, we're now, because we're at half a year speed, it's now, instead of 3-month blocks, it's 6-month blocks. So from the 12th month of 1955 to the 5th month of 1956, investments 5 million, and most of that was on tracks and infrastructure being train stations in this case, and then we've also done some road reworking as well, hence the expenditure, and also some of that actually comes from the previous 6-month block as well. So we spent a lot of money, but we have the money, which is fantastic. Gone for this sort of tunnel here, which I don't know if I'm happy with, to be honest. It doesn't look too bad for now though, so we'll leave it as is. But I do love like this junction here where you sort of curve round and you come out by the beach, by the waterfront, which is fantastic here, and then you sort of weave back in through some more trees, and then you come out at the rail depot by the roads here. The bridge itself as well, I've gone for the same style. The bridge was a little difficult to do, but we managed to get this built with relative success. It sort of goes to about the same height as the road bridge, as can be seen, and we can get boats under it. That's the main thing. I don't know if we will ever have boats going under it, but I think that needs to be a possibility. And then one of my favourite parts here, we've got some nice jaggy edges, or they're not jaggy, but they're sort of like mini cliffs, I guess, for the trains, which I really like actually, and the colouring of the ground is fantastic here. I'm not going to fix that because it just looks really nice. And then I've got this great junction here where you divide and go into the station, which has 2 platforms. All stations have 2 platforms. This one has a 3rd, just because why not? I thought, oh, you know what, let's add that in there. So that is allowing me to, if I want to, build maybe a suburban railway in the future, if I want to, or if I want to, I don't know, build an airport out here in the middle, and I'm going to have, for example, a train station for that railway, or train station for that airport, sorry, I cannot speak. There we go, formed a sentence. A train station for an airport. Anyway, moving on, let's get a train onto the tracks, and let's get things underway. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do something a little bit unique. I'm going to connect into Bada. I realise Bada's not got any connections, but that's it. As I said earlier on, I'm not concerned about Northend. That can be added in at a later stage. This is going to be a transport, or a train, passenger, transport train, TP, that's really what that stands for. We're then going from the small village, which is not really a small village anymore, up into the large city of Forest. Barra itself is at a population of 115. That is quite stagnant now, to be fair, actually, and that hasn't changed in a while. So let me go, and ideally what I want to do is have a road which goes along the back here and connects into the station, like so, and then have you come up there, and then you come up there, but I don't ideally want to destroy 2 houses here, I just want to destroy the one. And there we go, and then if you 2 can connect, and that's perfect, like so. And even though I built that road, the AI has decided to do its own thing. Also, someone's moved in close by very quickly, realising this is a great opportunity to grab this land before it becomes very, very high value, which I'm expecting it to do so. So we're going to remove the bus, and that's going to mean 2 things. It's going to mean that part of Forest is going to be disconnected, which is going to be unfortunate, and it also means down in Bada, there's no clear way to get up to the train station from the port. So those are 2 things we need to fix, and how are we going to fix that? We're going to build another bus line, but I don't think we are going to build a bus line. In this town, in Forest, we're going to add in our first tram route, which is quite exciting. So let's get prepared for that. I'm struggling now. I can tell when I record episodes back to back and I start to slur my words, it's like, okay, it's definitely time for a rest now. Which I'm more than happy to do. So anyway, we're going to have to do quite a bit of work on the streets here, aren't we? So we're really going to need to upgrade a lot. I'm maybe going to start off with the bus for now, actually. I think we're going to just do the bus for now, and then we'll go to tram at a later stage. I realise tram, it would be a great incentive right now, but I need to first of all work out some demanding, and then we also need to make sure that we've actually got enough people actually needing a tram, because a tram costs quite a lot of money, and if you don't get it right, you can lose a lot. So we're going to have a city bus route now, which is going to serve a few different parts of the town. We're going to have a bus stop there that can then come up around to, I guess, this part of the town here. It can go through, and I'm just trying to think what I do want to connect up. Do I really care about connecting people from their houses and the train station into the goods area? I probably do, actually, so this is quite important that we do. So if we have, for example, a few bus stops going around here, so if we have one there, we can then stop back, and we can just sort of do a small P shape there. And then at this other side, we can also have another bus stop here, and then we can intermingle. I'm probably just going to go straight into, stop there, we have another stop along this road here, and then we'll just go straight into the bus station, because we might as well use the bus station. So now I know the route I want to make. So we're going to come out the bus station, we're going to be replacing the yellow route in there anyway, then we're going to come along and just wrap around the town. So the train station, I guess you could say, is like the middle stop on the route. All in all, we'll then call back at the high street there and then come back through the stops that we have just been through, like so, and that's perfect. So the big thing about this route is that we've got 2 or 3 big stops actually. So where stops number 6 and 11 are, there's a lot of people around there, which is good. Then got the train station itself, and then we've got the forest sidings, which is the connection, which is going to connect you over to Northend for the time being, that is. So this here is a BU, it's a city bus, so BUX, and then this is the town of Forest. What we now need to do is I'm just going to buy buses. I'm not going to transfer buses because that half the time never goes well. What we're going to do is we're going to go for some C40 buses, just so we can start to gauge demand and really see how things go. We're going to go for 5 of these on this route, and then we're going to get those out and about. The thing is about those C4 or C40 buses is that they do not go very fast, but there's going to be lots of traffic because all of Forest is pretty much single laned right now, which is also something I need to look at. So the next thing we can do now is turn our attention down to Bada. Bada is quite easy to fix, to be honest. I'm not really too worried about this town at all. We're just going to have 2 circles, I think. So we're going to have a clockwise one and an anti-clockwise one going around the town. So we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4. Do we need any more bus stops than that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we can get rid of that bus stop there. Perfect, so I know what I'm going to do. We're just going to have a very basic circle as I've explained. I'm going to do clockwise and anti-clockwise though, just to add in a little bit of variety and see if the clockwise and anti-clockwise idea actually works in this game or not, because in the previous Transport Fever it really didn't work out at all. You were so much better doing a point-to-point. So this is the BUX, this is going to be the anti-clockwise route. And then we are in the town of Barra, which is nice and easy to enter in. And then similarly, let's make another line, just doing the stops, but in the opposite order. Going around clockwise this time, and then back into number 1. It looks like a lot of these bus stops have mapped to be only 1 bus stop, not 2, so I'm going to have to sort these out, which I'll do very shortly. So that's me now sorted out the mess in the town here of Bada. I've also gone and put buses onto those 2 new routes. So again, it is just clockwise and anti-clockwise. Nice and simple, and that is Bada now good to go. The buses are inbound currently from the town, as you can see, of Forest. The final thing to do then is stick a train onto this and see how we do, because I don't know what the trains are, to be honest. I've dropped maybe in the series or the game I played before this just to get familiar with this. I really didn't do too much for trains. I did go for multi-units, but I was in sort of a different time period, so I don't know if multi-units will actually be the best option here. We do have a multi-unit diesel train, the Russian class TE3, 62 miles per hour, and it looks like it's not a bad train, to be honest, but as a multi-unit, do you actually carry passengers? I'm assuming you should, but I don't actually see a passenger number there. I'm not really interested in that too much anyway. What we're going to do is we're going to go for some locomotives, I think, to start off with. I'm not really at all sure. I think we're really limited. So yeah, we've got the Russian TE there, yeah, so it must have put two of them together. So I think what we might do is we might try either diesel or steam. I think we're just at the end of the steam age, to be honest. I can't imagine... I mean, that's build date is 1954. So that's quite interesting. Let's start looking at the... We need to really choose the locomotive first, I suppose, don't we? So let's go to the bottom. We're going to go for some steam, and we're going to go for... Okay, so that costs... Yeah, right, we need to get rid of this menu here, because that's confusing me. Or is this part... This is all part of the one menu? No, it's not. Didn't think it was. I don't know why I've got two things open there at the same time. I don't really need Vehicle Manager to be here either. That could disappear. Doesn't matter. Right, what are we going to go for here? Well, something like that. It's going to cost 8 million. That's like all my money, which is not good. So we're going to definitely cancel that. And let's try and go for something else. Russian L-Class, that's going to also cost me a hefty amount of money. I'm just looking at the yearly running costs, to be honest. There's a lot of nice Russian locomotives here. They're near enough all Russian. Again, I've gone for the Asian, so I don't think I actually have access to all vehicles around the world right now. Again, I might bring them in at a later stage. I'm just thinking 71 miles per hour, 53, 50, 78. This 71 doesn't sound too bad. We're on relatively flat, so how much is that going to cost? 4 million? I think that's respectable, and I'm quite happy to pay that. So we're capped at 71 miles per hour, and I realise that we've got high-speed tracks, and we've got catenaries, and it's maybe not ideal for the time period. I'm just building a bit for the future there. So what carriages are we going to go for? I am unsure. So the suburban ones have got high loading speeds. This isn't really a suburban route though, but that might be advantageous, especially that goes to 62 miles per hour, as does the Rov 22. That's got capacity of 20, loading speed of 2. It's probably going to be in between these two. They're only a 10k difference. Going down the list, the Putulov 50 miles per hour, 14 capacity. Not overly fussed by that. And then the China type, it's 75 miles per hour. There's not much advantage of going for that right now. What am I thinking here? I'm going to go for one of these two. And I think... Why don't we try and go for... I might actually be a cheapskate. Should I be a cheapskate? Nah, let's not. Let's go for the Orkney 22. So let's buy 1, 2, 3, 4 of these. That's going to bring my train to capacity of 80, but it's also going to cost me 9 million, which is a lot of money. So that's now bought, and then I can now apply that onto my route in between the town of Forest and Bada, which is just fantastic. It is just fantastic. I almost used that just fantastic wording. But this now means then that our yellow route is now redundant, unfortunately. It's going to be eating into our train market share, so it's time to say goodbye to that. What I need to do is, I guess I need to now clear all the vehicles off this route and delete it, which is what I'm going to do now. So there we go, that is all of the yellow buses now gone, and as we can see, our locomotive is steaming on past. Do the carriages go with the locomotive? Not really, but I can work on that by changing some of the colours. I do love the steam coming out the top though, that is fantastic. We have got our railway crossing here coming up with the train on approach. The gates went down a little bit late there, but they always have in Transport Fever. And cars do stop. We're not going to hit any cars. Doesn't really matter what platforms we're going into right now. Might as well go into platform number 1 here though. That makes the most sense as we arrive in, and we've currently got 10 people waiting to get on the train, and the train is leaving with 15 people, so I don't know if some people were already on the train or if there was some late arrivals, but that's good. We're starting to get movement in between the two towns, which is perfect, and I now have a large build-up of people, 49 people already waiting at Barra, which I'm very pleased about. Just need to make sure I'm moving people around the town effectively. I can already tell that this bus stop here is getting a bit busy, and lots of people want to go in an anti-clockwise direction round to the station. So this is where I might need to put on more buses, for example, for one way rather than the other. Forest itself, it's also got a similar issue. It's going to have, I can imagine, 74 people wanting to come round to the train station from there. So we're going to work on that in the next episodes. But I'm going to have to wrap it up there, ladies and gentlemen. Let's just have a very quick look and see how things are going. So I still need to get rid of that yellow route there. Financially though, that was one of our very best routes, and it'll be sad to see that go, but I think the train should hopefully go and eventually start to make quite a good profit and continue to grow there. In terms of our other routes which are doing well, we are doing well on our Long Hope Food route now. Actually, that was one which we've had to spend quite a bit of time working out, but it is now in the goods. Then we've got the bus is to Northend from Forest. Montrose area looks like there is some success on the buses down there. We can have a look at that in the next episode as well. Then on the negative, it's just the buses in Bada right now. Bus around Forest isn't doing great. These are new routes. The bus to Sea Shanty, it's actually one of the most struggling routes as of current. So, you know, we've got some real good routes here. On the boats, doing fantastic. Really happy about that progress there, and we can continue to build on it in the next episode. And there we have it. That is a wrap on episode number 4. Quite an interesting episode actually. I met most of the things I aimed to do in this episode, which was good. We managed to get a railway in between the towns of Forest and Barra up and running, though it is built to Northend. I have only just placed this down, and we had to modify the buses around these two towns of Barra and of Forest, just to make sure we're keeping passengers moving, because a lot of the passengers coming from the ferry from Long Hope to Barra really want to continue on to Forest, so we need to make sure that that's sort of a seamless transition. And I did think about trams, and I still sort of am at the back of my mind, but for now we just need to wait until things calm down, make sure that we are, I guess, fitting the bill, maybe extend up to Northend before we do that. Though there's lots of options for the next few episodes, which is great. And then also at the start of the episode, we did a few different things with cargo, so we made sure that we're increasing our cargo capacity, trying out a few different boats, which is fantastic, and then also making sure that everything is going well down in the south with Southampton, Winchester, Montrose, and Sea Shanty. With that said, that is all for this video, ladies and gentlemen, so thank you very much for watching. Please leave a like rating and subscribe if you are new around here. Go down into the description below where you'll see the playlist for the series in case you've missed another episodes. You'll also find the links to my Twitter, Discord and Patreon. Any support you can show me on any of those would be greatly appreciated, and that's all for this video. Thank you very much for watching, and my name is Bigfoot, and I'm out.